The government of the Virgin Islands has settled a 10-year dispute between subcontractors engaged by the government for work on the then Beef Island Airport Expansion Project. On February 12, during the 6th sitting of the House of Assembly, Finance Minister Dr. Orlando Smith, in response to a question from opposition member for District 1, Andrew Foy, pointed out that some 2 years before August 2000, the then VIP administration engaged Philip Holtzman for the Beef Island International Airport Expansion Project, although the news media reported that Philip Holtzman was experiencing financial difficulties.
Before the signing of the contract between the government of the Virgin Islands and Philip Holtzman, the media published a story that the company was fined $30 million after pleading guilty to a charge it helped rig bids for a U.S.-funded construction project, an item, Madam Speaker, which caused the then Financial Secretary to question the company's financial and legal capacity to overcome the case before the contract could be signed with the BVI government. Despite these indications, Madam Speaker, of the difficulties of the company, in August 2000, the government, of which the member was a part, signed a contract with Philip Holtzman, and in so doing, Madam Speaker, put our local contractors who would become subcontractors to Philip Holtzman at great risk. Madam Speaker, even after this ill-advised action, the then government did nothing to mitigate against this risk to the livelihood of our local contractors. Instead of demanding a performance and payment bond, which have been the appropriate action in this case, I would have provided for the payment of the subcontractors if there was any default of the company, which, for example, is a standard part of major contracts with the government of the United States. They asked instead only for a performance bond, leaving our subcontractors totally exposed if the company ran into any difficulty.
Dr. Smith said there was no court order directing the government to make disbursements from the funds received in the performance bond in relation to the then Beef Island Airport Expansion Project. He said the present government made a decision to use the funds to compensate the contractors for 75% of their costs.
Sadly, Madam Speaker, the plight of our local business people who could get nothing from the now insolvent company was totally ignored. Given all this issue, Madam Speaker, we determined that as representatives of the people of this territory, it was quite appropriate for us to use the monies that were in the performance bond, after it was satisfied the government was not disadvantaged, to compensate our local contractors for the losses they sustained and doing honest work on the airport project. But also emphasize, Madam Speaker, that this was not money from government coffers, but monies put forward in the bond, and that what was allotted to local business people was not the full cost of their claims for services rendered, but rather 75% of the cost.
According to the Premier, 7 contractors are being compensated. Otley Heavy Equipment will be paid $667,000, Accurate Construction $119,000, Skelton Quarry $94,000, MacArthur Engineering $59,000, Unit Construction $59,000, D&B Trucking $25,000, and Tortola Concrete Products $23,000. Premier Smith said provisions are being put in place to mitigate against such occurrences in the future and to ensure that local contractors and business people are not placed at risk in similar situations.